This is the best. That's a yellow nation, the highest point. Yes, you yellow. That's the highest point.
Yes, welcome to 360 Sports on Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. That was during the Bauchi State Sports Festival, where talents were harnessed for the next national games, National Sports Festival that will be coming up, and it was a good outing during the Bauchi State Sports Festival. Like I said, it's just to get talents that will be representing the state in subsequent national competitions, and then also representing Nigeria in Olympics and other world events. All right, on that note, I welcome you to the show proper. We've got a lot on the show this morning that we'll be looking at. Our sporting stories making the rounds in the world of sports from Nigeria, Africa, and then we'll go straight to Europe, where we also have our Nigerian brothers and sisters doing well for their respective teams and their respective sporting events in the world. But we will begin from Australia over the weekend. It was a battle of supremacy. It was who is the king of Africa, and two Africans went into the octagon, and it was one other African that supersedes over the other. And we're talking about Israel Adesanya, as Plessis beat Israel Adesanya to retain the middleweight title, belt. For Israel Adesanya, before this fight, they actually said he is not fighting for the belt, but he is fighting for pride and supremacy. At the end of the day, Plessis in the fourth round, due to submission, Israel Adesanya just have to submit when it was actually a good fight for Israel Adesanya. And after the fight, he said the best fighter won on the night. Yes, if you look at Israel Adesanya, he actually took what we call a sabbatical leave away from UFC, and then coming back, his first fight against Plessis. He lost that fight in Perth, Australia, early hours of Sunday morning. That fight went down on Sunday morning. But Israel Adesanya said he has actually learned a lot in this fight. Plessis is for Dricus. Plessis is a South African, and it was a battle of the African king. And the two best fighters in this category actually went to the octagon, and Plessis had the upper hand. At the end of the day, I have Abba Michael joining me on the show this morning. Michael, welcome to 360 Sports on Trust TV. Plessis got the better of Israel Adesanya. It is the battle of the African supermen.
Yes, it is, and it was in Australia at the octagon. I mean, what will I say, ladies and gentlemen? He has retained his title, the man called Plessis. I must say, Adesanya failed to fight the good fight of faith, just like it is said in Timothy. That was why he submitted. When you are fighting the good fight of faith, you don't submit in the fourth round. You fight to the end. I mean, when you are running a race, you run in a particular way so as to win. I think Adesanya forgot those scriptures when he took to the arena, and that affected. I mean, his momentum. He got so rusty. We saw him with good moments of brilliance. Intermittently, we saw flashes of his excellence time to time. But Plessis came with a mission to finish this fight, and he went for the jugular. I mean, if you watch Duplessis' attack, you will know he wanted to make a mincemeat out of Israel Adesanya, and he was able to do just that. He never allowed Israel to breathe even for 5 consecutive seconds. He kept on mounting pressure upon pressure that had to lead to Adesanya's submission. I mean, Adesanya, right now, you have to just settle for the second best, because this is a back-to-back victory. I don't know why he took so much of a long layoff from the arena, but this is the kind of result you have. I pray it doesn't affect Anthony Joshua when he goes for his own fights.
Yes, but for Israel Adesanya, yes, he said that the best fighter won on the 9th, and it is what it is. Like you said, he never gave Israel Adesanya a breathing space, and you know, the style bender, as they call him, they didn't really, he actually gave those his punches, his kick, and you know, Israel Adesanya's kick. But watching the whole fight, where do you think Israel Adesanya didn't really got it wrong a little bit? Because he was in there, but in the 4th round, I think the firepower from Duplessis was just too much.
Yes, the truth is Adesanya's preparation was quite adequate. I love the fact that he had answers to Duplessis, except maybe the 4th round. But it's obvious that Duplessis has studied his tapes over and over and over again, because he seems to be predicting Adesanya as the match went on. And somehow in the 4th round, maybe Adesanya wasn't able to build enough stamina, and Duplessis, who was rich in stamina supply, had surplus energy to be able to pressure Adesanya to submit. I think it was so much of a momentum gathered by Duplessis that made Adesanya to submit. Adesanya did well in the first 3 rounds, but in that 4th round, somehow, I think the coach gave him 1 or 2 instructions, and he was able to abide by it. And you know, Duplessis is a bit more powerful than Adesanya. Adesanya is kind of more of a finesse. He has the bigger punch, but he's more of a finesse fighter. And somehow, when you are finesse, you have to be 100%. You don't leave any margin for error. And I think it was that margin for error that led him to that submission.
Yes, margin for error that led him to that submission. Actually, he said that he made some mistakes, and that was what caused him to lose that fight to Dricus Duplessis. Now, he's the African king of that division. They say who fights and run away comes back to fight another day. And we are looking forward to Israel Adesanya coming back to challenge him for a 3rd time, and let's see how that will go. Let's leave the octagon and talk some handball, and this time around we'll go straight to Chuzhou, China, where our darling under-18 women's handball team, after losing 2 games in the group, that is in Group B, they were able to beat Angola in their last group game, and they fall. You know, in handball, you don't just lose out completely. They have what we call classification games, and also it's called the Presidential Cup. Now, after losing to Croatia and Montenegro, they beat Angola in their 3rd game, and they were due to play. They fell into the classification games, and their 1st game against Chile, it was a loss for them, 23-22, just by 1 goal score line in that game between Nigerian under-18 women's handball team and their Chilean counterpart in Chuzhou, China. Michael, it was a painful defeat for these young ladies. They gave it all. Just at the last moment, Chile was able to get that score, and it ended 23-22.
Yes, I mean, when a scoreline ends by this narrowest of margins, it shows that it all went down to the wire. And when it goes down to the wire, it's just like 100 meters finish. When you saw Noah Lyles and Keishan Thompson, you saw how they fought at the finish line, separated by 0.005 of a second. I think this can be likened to such a scenario. This is nothing but a similar scenario. This was nothing but misfortune. It's a learning curve for the girls. I mean, it's an under-18 President's Cup. they have really given their best. It's when they lose silly, maybe a 22 or a 23-10 or a 23-4, that you would say, they gave a bad account of themselves. But I think these ladies, they deserve a pat on the back. I mean, they played the Presidential Cup, they deserve a presidential handshake. I mean, I expect the Sports Commission to salute them even whenever they come back. I mean, I saw Botswana, I saw the way they celebrated Lesile Tibogo, I saw Kenya, the way they celebrated Beatrice Chebet, and of course, Faith Kipyegon. Nigerians, we don't immortalize our athletes, we don't celebrate them enough. I mean, they have really given their best, regardless of the fact that they are suffering in the group stages, but it's a learning curve for them. I believe that the next time out you see these girls, the results will be a different ball game.
Yes, the result will be a different ball game. They still have one game to go in the classification game. They will be playing against Austria. Let's now leave handball and come back home. Let's go straight to the glass house. Michael, we are still waiting. Fingers crossed. All hands are on deck. Super Eagles coach not named yet, but from reports, we are getting that former Sweden coach Gianni Andersson is considered for Super Eagles job. If it goes, it's going to be the second Swedish tactician that will be coaching Nigeria. Let's not forget Lars Lagerbäck when he was here with us with the Super Eagles. But this time around, another Swedish guy is in the offing, Gianni Andersson.
This will probably be the third time we'll be having stints with Swede nationalities. Apart from Lars Lagerbäck, I remember him very well. I think we also had a coach for the Super Falcons also. Yeah, recently, sometimes in perhaps 2016 or is it 2019? But then, if you look at his track record, you will see that he's actually having a fat resume. I think he qualified, with Sweden to the 2018 World Cup and, of course, the 2020 Euros. Yes, he was able to do that. Unfortunately, he couldn't take a Swedish team to 2022 World Cup. And, of course, they just concluded Euros. We are going for a coach who is probably undergoing law of diminishing returns. His last couple of years, he has not been his prime self. His strategy has not really worked for Sweden. I don't know, perhaps he needs a new environment. Sometimes this coaching job is the most difficult job in the world. You may look like you are nose diving and deep diving, and then suddenly you need to be resurrected. And the only way your career can be resurrected is when you get a new surface. Perhaps if he eventually gets the nod, he'll be bringing in so much of experience. I mean, if you look at his coaching repertoire, you will know that he is definitely not a mistake. I believe he will be a good addition. Unfortunately, our indigenous coaches have not fared too well recently. I wish Samson Siasia could come back and recover from this challenge, maybe until then. But I believe that the decision is not a bad one. It's so difficult to get the best of the coaches in the market right now. They are so expensive.
Okay, now you just mentioned Samson Siasa because I was going there. His ban expired, lapsed on the 16th over the weekend, and now he's a free man from that ban, from FIFA ban. And some sports men I spoke with are saying, okay, if the NFF, now that Samson Siasa is free of that ban, why not go for Samson Siasa for the Super Eagles job? Because if you look at the past 10 years, let's say 15 years, he has been one of the best coaches Nigeria has ever produced alongside Emmanuel Amunike. Yes,
it's a very good choice. But the truth of the matter is, I want to urge pundits, please let Samson Siasia breathe. I mean, this man has not had fun in the last a year or two. I mean, he has been in custody. I don't know how to put it. He has not been free in the last couple of years, and he just, for the first time, became free like you and I. They should allow him to reingratiate himself back to normalcy. Let him recover himself fully. A coaching job is not a simple job. You don't just jump from one challenge and then back into coaching. Let's give him some time. Let someone else handle the Super Eagles. Let him understudy the terrain that has been in his absence, so that by the time they'll be engaging his services, probably when the time for this coach contract expires, if he does well, then we can now have CRC as coach. But right now, please, they should allow him catch some rest. Let him recover fully. Let him go back and do his thing. Let him rebuild his arsenal, his ammunition, his coaching tactics. Let him revamp it and refresh it and reset it, so that we can have the very best of him whenever he's psychologically balanced. So they should allow him to get stabilized upstairs before engaging him for that Super Eagles gaffer. And I agree with you, he's arguably our greatest coach.
Yes, of course, one of our best coach in the last 5 to 10 years. All right, let's switch here. Let's leave the NFF and talk some continental football. But this time around, we'll start with the women. We'll start from the region. They have been giving a very good account of themselves on the region. That is the Wafube Women's CAF Champions League qualifiers and Nigeria Women's Football League champions, Edo Queens. They have been imperious. They have been doing well. They've been fantastic in their outing. They started well in the group. In Group B, they are in the Wafube Women's CAF Champions League qualification, and they topped the group with maximum 9 points. They got the semi-final ticket, and now the governor of the state, that is Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State, is telling Edo Queens to stay focused because they still have some hurdles to go. Semi-final after final, they'll get to the final, and they want to pick the ticket from the region to represent Nigeria and the region in the CAF Women's Champions League. Michael, I think for Edo Queens, they've been fantastic. 9 maximum points from their group, beating teams like Gadel and then Hasaka Ladies of Ghana to top the group with 9 good points.
Yes, they suddenly look so much. They are a semblance of the 2003-2004 female version of the Eyimba CAF Champions League winners. I mean, when it comes to the women, they always make us proud. Whatever a man is struggling to do in Nigeria, a woman will always do it with ease. I think that's what's playing out in the sporting scenario. We saw it in athletics. I mean, we were over-reliant on our ladies. They did their best. They just couldn't get that cutting edge. But we know that they are basically our flag bearers. And we are hearing that Obaseki has splashed 50 million naira on this team. I don't know if it's a rumor or it's confirmed. If it is true, my goodness, this is what all governors should have done for the athletes who just came back from Paris. If every governor had splashed 50 million naira, 50 million times 36, you know what we are talking about. The athletes would have been superbly motivated. And maybe all those bronze medal matches that we were losing, maybe we would have won it, because when you put so much money at stake, I mean, everybody will want to make fortune that will make him rich for life. And that was what was missing in the Paris Olympics. The motivation, I must say, was not encouraging. And I like what the governor Obaseki is doing. He has shown that he's not just a political governor, but a sporting governor. And he's giving them the support they need. Please, managers of these athletes, ensure that these stipends get to them. We don't want any looting to occur administratively. I want to believe that it's an encouragement, and we wish them all the best as they go for their next match.
Yes, as they move for their next match, let's quickly enjoy some highlights of those games between Edo Queens Hasaka Ladies and also that game between them and Gadel FC. The qualification is going on in Côte d'Ivoire. They are using the stadium that was used for the AFCON 2023, where Nigeria also got to the finals against the host country, that's Cote d'Ivoire, losing 2-1. But let's just enjoy some highlights from Edo Queens in some of their games at the ongoing Wafubi Women's CAF Champions League qualifiers. Yes, that was Edo Queens making Nigerian proud at the CAF Women's Champions League qualifier, the Wafubi qualification in Cote d'Ivoire. We wish these girls very well, like what Mike has said, going forward. They have their semi-final game, and that is what the governor is actually telling them to stay focused and see how they can progress. The ultimate prize is them getting the ticket to represent Nigeria in the CAF Women's Champions League. Let's leave Edo Queens and talk men now, who are also participating in the CAF Confederations Cup. We have about 4 male teams that are representing the country on the continent. But we begin with this particular story. Academy Warriors, they were held to a 1-1 draw in a away game between them and Daj FC of Niger Republic. But the coach, Aliou Zubairu, has come out to fault their draw on poor pre-season. Michael, this team won the President FA Cup in Nigeria, and their first game on the continent was an away draw against Daj FC.
El Kamanemi Warriors have beginning to get things right. I mean, they have been taking the right decisions lately since after their victory. Of course, the coach was faulted the poor preparations due to the end bad governance protest. That halted activities nationwide and limited movements interstate. And so, I mean, whether we like it or not, we have to agree with him that those 2 weeks, those 2 horrible weeks, I had to keep activities at a standstill. And that really affected the players. But despite that, they were still able to grind out a late draw. I mean, I'm so happy with this result for the fact that it's away. I'm so happy about the results. And I believe that now that they are getting into what we call a game shape, we are believing that the outing in the second leg will be much better, and we really wish them all the best. I want only the El Kanemi management to support any team on the continent. I wish the governors in the geopolitical zones, I mean, could even send their own contributions. This is still Nigeria, as long as it's continental. I mean, it's a Nigerian team being represented. They should be given the treat they need. The players, I mean, should fly in first class is something that if 6 governors within a geopolitical zone could cooperate, they can make this happen. Anything happening within the geopolitical zone continentally, it is not a state affair. It is now a zonal affair. So I want to really encourage the coach to just keep the momentum. I believe that El Kanemi will make Nigeria smile.
Okay, Kanamis will make Nigerians smile. Now, let's leave the second tier of CAF competition and talk about the big one, the CAF Champions League, where we have 2 teams representing us, Remo Stars and Enugu Rangers, and both of them started on the winning note. Enugu Rangers beating Comoros side, Zimaldu Joe, 1-0 away, and for Remo Stars, it was 2-1 against AS FAR of Morocco. They went ahead, and AS FAR came back and got equalized that goal before Sadiq Ismail, Super Eagles defender, got that fantastic flying. If you look at that goal, you know it was a class goal from Sadiq Ismaila. You can see him on the screen, and it was a fantastic one. But at the end of the day, they got the 3 points, 2-1 against AS FAR of Morocco. You know, when we are playing against the North African teams, it's always a big problem. But 2-1, you know what away goal rules, what the away goal does when it comes to CAF competition. But for Remo Stars, 2-1, they still got that win at home against AS FAR, and Rangers going away to get a 1-0 victory.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation for our top 2 teams. That's how to prove and show that you are actually a top team. They have just announced to Nigeria officially that they have what it takes to contest for the continental title. I must call it a flying start. The weekend has been superb. I mean, for all our teams on the continent, we are so happy with the results. And I think CAF needs to understand that things have changed. In Europe, I don't know if away goals rule still matters or still counts. I don't know why it's difficult for us to also follow suit, since they colonized us in terms of everything politically and now sports. I don't know why we are rejecting or resisting sports colonialism and refusing to also follow the same format that UEFA has been adopting in the last 1 year. Right now, it seems like the away goals still matters. Correct me if I'm wrong anyway, but I wish we could also, I am not a fan of away goals rule. I wish it could just be a level playing ground, and CAF needs to also reconsider this.
Yes, CAF also needs to reconsider this, because the away goal rule is no longer in existence in UEFA Cup competitions now, but we are still adopting that here on the continent of Africa. Still talking about these 2 teams, Remo Stars and Enugu Rangers. From your perspective, how far do you think these 2 teams can go? They got all of the teams participating on the continent. CAF just doled a $50,000 as for participation fee, and as you progress, you keep to get more money from CAF. But $50,000 for all of the teams that are playing on the continent.
Yes, I mean, they have what it takes to get to what they call the money spinning group stages. I think, if I still understand the terrain of how CAF is being run, we need to give the players all the massive support that they need, especially both teams. I mean, we're happy for Remo. Remo know how to surely treat players. I mean, Remo has been the benchmark when it comes to the teams, the domestic teams. Remo has set the standard, they've set the pace, they've injected so much finance into the mainstream of management. The players are well taken care of. I mean, they don't suffer on the road like a wilderness journey the way other teams do. Perhaps if they are able to get such monies, $50,000, if they do well, and of course they get more money for the money spinning group stages, if I'm getting it correctly, then we are looking forward to seeing the welfare of the players improving massively, because we don't want jackpot for our players. If I say so, it will look as if I'm wishing them bad luck anyway. but we need to improve their conditions so that they will also stay and not look for greener pastures outside.
Yes, of course. We just need to take care of our players very well. Welfare is key so that we can have our homegrown players stay back here at home and then do us proud. And when it comes to national engagement, all right, Michael, let's go straight to Europe and we'll look at the EPL. EPL, the most glamorous, exciting, the most watched league in the world, kicked off over the weekend, and we had exciting games over the weekend from Friday to Sunday. There were games, and we're still going to have some games later on tonight. But it was a good one. 4 top leagues in Europe started: the La Liga, the EPL, the Italian Serie A. Football for the German Bundesliga, they are going to be starting just come next weekend, and then we also have French League on starting over the week. But we are going to be looking at the EPL from Friday night. We had one game on Friday night. Manchester United at Old Trafford beat Fulham 1-0, and Joshua Zirkzee, the newly acquired striker, got that lone goal for them. And we had games that were played also on Sunday. Manchester City 2-0 against Chelsea, and somebody says the bridge has started falling at the beginning of the season. For Arsenal, flying start against Wolves at the Emirates, 2-0 also. A fourth striker in that game, that is this man from Germany, got that goal. Saka was fantastic. But let's quickly look at the full result for the weekend in the English Premier League, and we'll look at the table, how it has, the way it has started. To look at Liverpool also getting a good result against Ipswich Town, against their under their new manager and then Slot. All right, let's go straight to result and look at the result for the weekend. The full result: Fulham, like I said, lost 1-0 at Old Trafford to Manchester United. Have Brentford 2-1 against Crystal Palace. Chelsea at Stamford Bridge lost 2-0, and we have Ipswich Town against Liverpool also losing 2-0. That is welcome to the EPL proper. Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium beat Wolves 2-0, and Everton were trashed by Brighton 3-0. Newcastle United pipped another newcomer. They got relegated last season, and they bounced back 1-0 against Southampton. Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth played a 1-1 draw. West Ham United lost at home despite doing all of the buyings, also making some good signing. Lost 2-1 to Aston Villa, a team that will be playing in the English Premier League. Michael, quickly, your team, you know, you support us now, but it was a good weekend for some teams in the English Premier League. First game of the season, and we've already seen some fantastic results.
Yeah, I mean, I want to officially say, EPL, welcome back. It's time to get glued to our TVs every weekend. We've had a break. Thank God for Paris Olympics, and some people will say thank God for Big Brother. But of course, the main darling of the main event, weekend event, is the English Premier League. Our weekends are officially occupied, and I must say, Man U were able to draw first blood thanks to their new signing. They actually shopped well, unlike Chelsea that will go and shop for every mechanic they see on the road, every electrician. I mean, they'll just pick and add every player that looks like he has potential. They just sign them in. But here is a Manchester United, Man City. They just couldn't find that cutting edge. Man City looked so dangerous. I mean, every attack was a potential goal. When you have Erling Haaland, what do you expect? When you have a star-studded midfield, what do you expect? Makes him a starter for the English national team. A very big congratulations. We also saw Bournemouth, of course, Nottingham Forest, a draw, perhaps the only draw of the weekend. We had one draw, one loss, and then the rest were victories. The usual suspects have taken their spots on the table, maybe except Chelsea, who are still splashing billions to sign rubbish. But right now, we must say kudos to Aston Villa for taking down West Ham. Those two teams are the reasons why Arsenal failed to win the league last season. And here they are going head to head against each other. I rooted for none of them because of them we didn't get the Premier League. But then Ipswich Town finally welcome to the Premier League. In 2001, when they came to the Premier League, their first match was against Liverpool. And here they are, 23 years later, the same thing is happening. For Everton, I think they need to find their groove. It seems like they are still sleeping and yet to wake up.
Okay, they are yet to wake up for Everton. You know what happened to them last season, and they've started the same way the way they ended last, though they pushed up a bit last season and they got it right. Let's look at the table quickly, if we can just look at the way the table is right now with wins and some losses. Brighton is topping at the table because it's one game and they have 3 points. Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Aston Villa, Brentford, Man United, Newcastle United, Bournemouth, and Nottingham Forest. All right, let's go straight to the La Liga also. Let's look at La Liga. There were games also over the weekend in La Liga, and one team started on a draw note after acquiring one big player, and everybody thought, okay, last night they were going to get the 3 points. But you know, when you are playing a game against your rival, a local rival, is always difficult. Real Mallorca is also in the same city with Real Madrid. But let's look at some results. Barcelona getting a good win against Valencia, 2-1. Lewandowski getting one of those goals, and Rayo Vallecano and co getting result. Let's run over the result. Real Sociedad lost to Rayo Vallecano 2-1. Mallorca and Real Madrid played a 1-1 draw. Osasuna won, Leganés won, Valencia won, Barcelona 2, Celta Vigo 2, Deportivo Alaves 1, Las Palmas 2, Sevilla 2. That is a team of Kelechi Iheanacho starting on the draw note. Athletic Club 1, Getafe, where Nigerian Uche got that goal for Getafe. And then Real Betis played a 1-1 draw with Girona in that order. Michael, quickly, for Real Madrid, we thought they were going to get the 3 points, but like I said, playing against a team that is in the same city, they are local rivals, but they ended 1-1. Kylian Mbappe, at the end of that game, was disappointed with the draw.
Perhaps injected so much jet lag and fatigue into the Galacticos, and that must have affected them. They've not really been in game shape. They've had a preseason all summer long, and then here they are facing a city rival. You all know how difficult it is to face city rivals. Barcelona faced Catalonia. We saw Everton. Sometimes when they face Liverpool, it's always a difficult team. In London derbies, the same thing happens. Arsenal, Chelsea, Crystal Palace. All those derbies are always difficult to play, and the playing away makes it even more difficult. But I believe they would bounce back. This is not the kind of welcome a certain Kylian Mbappe, the best player in the world. He deserves better, and I want to believe that they will definitely bounce back. But it's very difficult to be catching up from behind. You need to win your first game and sign your authority, establish your authority as a team to beat. Even Girona also had an away draw. It's not just Real Madrid, the top 2 teams of last season. The league has just begun. Sevilla also had a draw. But Barca, the almighty Barca, they've started banging and firing on all cylinders. Lewandowski is showing that he's ageless, like Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. I will look forward to see him breaking even more records as the season unfolds.
Okay, let's see how it's going to be for La Liga. It's just the first weekend in English Premier League and also in La Liga. Kylian Mbappe, fantastic player, but he was disappointed on the night when that game ended on 1-1 draw. He had thought he would get started with a winning game against Real Mallorca, but it didn't go that way. Let us flip the first side of the table and see what it means for just the first game. Let's just look at the first side of the La Liga table, and we know Barcelona got 2-1 against Valencia in that game. They are definitely, you should know where they are at the top of the table because it was 2-1 victory for Barca. First weekend in La Liga. Let's have the table, if we can have the table on the screen, and then we'll look at some transfers on the story probably before we go. Once the table is ready, we will take it. All right, for Leganés, they are just coming back to the league also. That is the team of Super Eagles player defender Kenneth Omero in there, and we have quite a number of Nigerian team, that is Super Eagles players plying their trade in La Liga. So let's see how it goes. Let's leave that and take some transfers on the show before we go. And we'll start with this one. Manchester United pull out of Ivan Toney deal. Ivan Toney has been speculated for transfers, rumor going to Saudi Arabia, but Manchester United, maybe they've seen what they want in Joshua Zirkzee. Now they are pulling out of this deal. Michael, I believe Manchester United have seen some glimpses of their new striker. They still have Rasmus Højlund, who is out injured. Maybe that's why they took this decision to pull out of this deal of Ivan Toney.
Yes, I mean, it's a very strategic decision. Ivan Toney, we all know that he's a 20 goals season player any day, anytime, if he's healthy, and of course, devoid of off-field antics. We know him very well. He's not a stranger to scandals. Man, you have had a certain couple of players who have always been at the wrong side of the media. And Ivan Toney is one of such players. Perhaps they are trying to avoid unnecessary frenzy in the media space. But then we're also hearing that Saudi Arabia have interest in Ivan Toney. I mean, when you are a top player, the big money clubs in Saudi comes calling. And that's the situation right now. I think it's not a bad idea. For now, they have a reliable striker and, of course, one who is yet to recover in the offing. So it's not so much of a bad decision. I just wish my own Arsenal could snap this player up because, I mean, you have an Ivan Toney, the Premier League is a done deal.
Okay, Ivan Toney, you had that. Maybe he will just go straight to where the money is, that is Saudi Arabia. All right, let's look at this one. Go to La Liga. Atletico Madrid shows interest in Valencia midfielder Javi Guerrera. Fantastic player. We saw him with Valencia at the open weekend for Valencia, where they lost 2-1 to Barcelona. And then we look at this one, Liverpool to sign Real Sociedad Martin Zubimendi in January. Liverpool who want to sign Real Sociedad Martin Zubimendi in January. Michael, quickly for Javi Guerrera, before we look at Liverpool's story where they want to sign Martin Zubimendi, I think it's going to be a good addition for Atletico Madrid.
Addition, as a matter of fact, where a player like Javi Guerrera, I mean, he gives that midfield the subtle passes that it requires. I mean, he's a player who has a very, very good eye, and he's able to find strikers. He's even a box-to-box midfielder. I think that decision is spot on. If they can cut this player and recruit him, I think it will be a wonderful and valuable addition to the team.
Okay, Liverpool to sign Real Sociedad Zubimendi, but I will not allow you to talk about that. Let's go straight to the last transfer on the show. Chelsea, Crystal Palace confident to sign Chelsea midfielder Kani Chukwuemeka. And like you made reference to Chelsea, where they buy everything buyable in the market, but this time around, Crystal Palace, another London club, who want to snap up. He's a Nigerian, but he plays for the English national team. Kani Chukwuemeka.
Yeah, I mean, Kani Chukwuemeka is a fine player, and I heard that Olise, I think, is on his way to Germany, or it's like he has gone already. So they would really need to get more firepower, and I think Chukwuemeka, we have seen him shown flashes. I don't know if England will still consider him for the national team. I wonder why he will not come and play for the Super Eagles. I mean, you are playing for Chelsea and you don't want to play for Super Eagles. This is a golden generation where you have top English players that can reach Euro finals. You will not get a shirt. Please find your way back to the Super Eagles if you can. That's my advice for him. But I think if he goes to Crystal Palace, he will get more playing time. So it's a good one for him to revive his career, even though his career is really, really good at the moment.
Okay, all right, that is where we'll be leaving it on the show this morning. Michael, thanks for joining up on the show, and just a good one on the sporting world this morning. And like you said, for Chukwuemeka, he should just find his feet at Crystal Palace, because I think there's a space for him. Olise is already with Bayern Munich, the Bavarians in Germany. All right, that is it on the program. 360 Sports reaching your screen from Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashemi. Say thanks for watching.